All right, folks, here we go again. Take two. I really wish I could get this live stream thing sorted. So, hopefully, this time it's working. Oh, yes, it is working. Awesome. And do we have good sound, please, people? I'm hoping so, because I just spent a fortune on a microphone. All right, awesome. Thanks, James. Okay, so off we go with the second attempt at a live stream. All right, folks, today I am doing a 30-question challenge, which is based on a garden look back. I was called out by Art of Creation, who's just popped into the room. So g'day to you folks over there. All right, now before we get started on it, I will just make a quick mention. The meatloaf was announced, and I managed to pull in a second on it, which is awesome. I wasn't setting out to win. The only thing I was looking to do was to beat Ed, and I managed to do that. So I beat Ed in his meatloaf, and I managed to pull in second. So that is absolutely awesome. All right, now off we go into the 30-question look back challenge. As I said, this is a little bit different for me because my garden's just at the start of the year. I was called out by an American channel who's obviously finished theirs, and that's fine. I'm more than happy to play along at this early stage in my garden. All right. So, first question, pronounce the name of your channel. It's Down Under Farm and Forge. Anyone who watches the channel knows why it's called that, because I'm out there gardening and I'm out in the forge playing around. When did you start your YouTube and why is question 2. Started it 3 months back. And it was, the reason I started it was my beautiful little granddaughter, Astrid. It was all about having something there that she's always got something to look back on, that she can see Pa, she can see who he is and what he's about. So that's the main driving force for my YouTube channel. Yeah, of course, like everyone else, it'd be lovely to get YouTube famous and make $1 million, but I can't see that happening. But yeah, and the main thing is just little Astrid, just so she gets to see who Pa's all about. So, we'll take it for a ride. I get to share it with her. She watches, so that's an enjoyable thing. All right, question number 3. What is your grow zone and state? Now, again, this is a little bit different from me. Because I'm not in America, we don't have defined grow zones. I'm in Victoria in Australia. It is a temperate to hot region. We don't get super cold temperatures, but we do get some heat in summertime. We get dry heat, which is probably about 100 plus on the Fahrenheit scale, 40 degrees sort of temperature on the Celsius scale. So yeah, it's fairly mild in the winter and pretty hot in the summer. Okay, when did you start your garden? I started gardening back when I was knee-high to a grasshopper. Beside my dad, he taught me how to garden, and that was an awesome thing, working beside the old man. He taught me how how to do it organically, how to do it cheaply. As far as this garden, it's only been a couple of months, and most of you have seen the progress of the garden as we come along. Question 5. What is your favorite kind of soil compost? My favorite kind of soil and compost is natural. Prefer to make my own soil, use the soil that's in the ground and make my own compost. I much prefer doing those things. Unfortunately, this year that wasn't really an option because I'm starting from scratch. So it was a matter of going out and buying in the nutrients and, you know, running things that way. I will be starting to compost once we go along. I've had to buy in, you know, all the nutrients to get it started. So, and when I'm buying in stuff, my favorite way to do it is cheap. I have bought the cheapest potting mix you can possibly buy. There's no nutrients in it, so I've put the nutrients in it to suit. Okay. How do you grow your food? Containers, ground, or raised beds? Well, the answer to that one's a yes. At the moment, I'm doing all of those things. I'm limited to the space I've got. I'm growing out in the front yard. The boys have got the backyard. It's a tiny little 1/10 of an acre block that I've got here. So I'm sort of stuck to the front yard, which means I use what's out there. So, you know, I do everything just so I can maximize the space. Do you own any fruit trees? If so, which ones? Yes, there's a couple of fruit trees here at the house. There's a lemon tree out the backyard, which pretty much every backyard in Australia in the old days had a lemon tree in it, because the guys need somewhere to go for a pee when they're at a party. I've also got a feijoa, which is also called a pineapple guava or a strawberry guava, out in the backyard. That was here when I got here. I've made jam off that. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful fruit. Love it. There's also out the front, there's some pomegranates. The hedge that I normally stand in front of is a pomegranate hedge. I never ever get any fruit off it because the birds always seem to grab it all. But yeah, that's the trees that are here at the moment. Do you eat everything in your garden that you grow? If no, why not? Well, simple answer is yes. I eat everything that's in the garden. You know, there's no point planting it if you're not going to eat it. And despite a certain someone named Dana saying that I don't eat any vegetables, well, yeah, they're all out there. I've got the leafy greens, and you guys have seen me cooking them and eating them. So, yeah, those are probably my least liked vegetables, but they give me that early season crop, which is awesome. What is the worst veggie? What is the best veggie that grows in your garden? Well, that's obvious, isn't it? It's potatoes. I mean, come on, folks, you know me. Potatoes is the way of the future, the past, you know, and the present. They are the be all and end all. And James, you're going to put in a cheeky comment here? All right. What is the worst vegetable to ever grow in your garden? Pak choi is probably one of the worst. It got hit by slugs this year. It got hit by is getting hit by cabbage moth this year. It's absolutely getting pounded. I've never had huge success with pak choi. It's sort of that one quick thing that you throw in, get a quick crop out of it, and yeah, you get a quick crop out of it, but that's about it. All right. So, what is your best harvest? At the moment, it's my spinach. Spinach is absolutely kicking it for me at the moment. Great big leaves out there. Absolutely going wonderful. My best overall is normally either my potatoes or my tomatoes. Both of them are great crops. They bring in, a lot of food. So, yes, you are distracting me. Thanks, Paula. So, what was your worst harvest? For this year, it's definitely my cucumbers so far. Those slugs absolutely destroyed them. We are going to go back in with them and give them another go now that I've got the slug war. I think I've won it. Knocked them right back, and hopefully I'll be able to get those cucumbers out there and get them up. So, yeah, hopefully they're gonna come back. Worst harvest overall was probably the one time I tried peanuts. I got absolutely nowhere out of them. They all rotted in the ground. So I'm still going to try peanuts this year. And give them a go. I'm going to try them in containers. I'm going to copy what Paula done. And give them a go in the containers and see if I can bring them out. But I'm just waiting for the weather to be nice and consistently warm so they don't rot on me again. Yes, I know, Paula, you got a harvest. Well done. What is your favorite to eat from the garden? Well, come on, folks. That's potatoes. Potatoes. Love my potatoes. They are just so versatile, and potatoes are a vegetable. For those who question that, they might be a starchy vegetable, but they are a vegetable. And with potatoes, you can make potato salad. And with potatoes, you can make vodka. Therefore, vodka is potato essence, for anyone who's wondering. Gotta love some potatoes. How do you protect your garden? Organically. I like growing organically, so organically is the way I protect it. I don't like to go out there with heaps of dusts and sprays and that sort of thing. I don't like putting a bunch of chemicals on the garden and then having to eat those chemicals. It just does not make sense. I wasn't brought up that way. Thanks, Jason. Yeah, I do, mate, but I'm not going to. So I've done the beer for the slugs. I've been out there picking them off, squishing them, dropping them in salt water. I'm picking off cabbage moth larvae at the moment. So, yeah, there's a lot of hand picking. Yeah, you did, mate. So, yeah, organically is the way I like to do it. Ideally, I would love to run some ducks, but I don't think I'm going to get away with that in the front yard. Dana has her 3 little ducks out in the garden, some Indian runner ducks, which are out there cleaning up her pests at the moment, which is absolutely wonderful. So, yeah, ideally I'd love to run some ducks, but yeah, it's just not an option where I am. All right. Name 3 things you had to buy more of for the garden. For me, that was very much organic matter, nutrients, and mulch. I had to buy that stuff in just to get it up and going. I started with a patch of grass, so I needed to add stuff to it to get it up and going, to get it running. Prefer not to buy it, but yeah, that's the way it is. Name something you would buy again for the garden. All right, does space count? Because I'd love more space for the garden. That's a big one for me. In this tiny little space here, and it's very confined in what I can do at the moment, but we make do and we get by. The other thing is seeds. You can never have too many seeds. All right. Name something you wouldn't buy again. Organic matter. Because of the situation, because of our lockdown here this year, I had to buy in my organic matter. I don't normally do that. I normally collect it, out of, from farms and that sort of thing, collect horse poo, get hay and that sort of thing out in the wild. Buying it from a hardware store cost me an absolute fortune, but I did not have a choice this year. So it was either garden or not garden. So I had to buy the organic matter to get things moving. So yeah, I wouldn't do it again, but unfortunately with the year that we've all been having, that's what I was forced to do. Name something new you want to buy for the garden. For me, there's not so much in sort of goods or anything like that. Seeds. I'd love to have. I said, hey, James. As in what horses eat. All right. So yeah, there's no particular items that I want to buy for the garden. I want to make a few items which will come along as we go. That'll be part of my blacksmithing stuff. I'm going to make a couple of tools up for the garden. But there's nothing in particular I want to buy for the garden as far as goods are concerned. I want to get there's some seeds I didn't plant this year that I've grown before, and I would love to grow them again. And that is a Trabencio zucchini. It's a climbing zucchini, and it is magnificent. Sort of like snake gourd or something like that, but it's a member of the zucchini family. And it grows 2 foot long. It's a massive thing. It climbs up a frame and it looks fantastic. But unfortunately this year, I just didn't have the room for it. I've already got 2 climbing frames out there. So, I'm sort of stuck with the space. Can't do chickens, folks. I have 2 cattle dogs in the backyard. So they wouldn't get it. Chickens would end up in trouble. All right, name 2 things you're taking out of the garden. There's nothing really that I'm taking out of the garden. Pak choi's a pain in the butt to grow, but I would grow it again, simply for the fact that it is just that early crop. Love to. Yes, slugs would be a great thing to take out of the garden. Thanks, Jace. But yeah, I don't think they agree with my decision. And g'day to Christ-Centered Ironworks. Thanks for stopping by again, mate. All right. Do you have a budget for your garden? This year, the budget was absolutely huge because I had to buy all that organic matter in. Generally, my seed budget is the only budget I have for my garden, which is normally pretty huge too, because like all gardeners, I love to buy seeds. So yeah, so generally just the seeds. That's what I buy in. That's about it. Okay. Where do you buy your items from? I buy from organic suppliers. Not necessarily for the organic label, because I'm not a huge believer in the organic label. That's a bunch of hoops that people have to jump through to get the tag. But I know that if it comes from an organic supplier, we don't have the farm fresh or anything like that over here in Australia. Basically, it's organic or nothing. So yeah, I go for the organic when I buy stuff. Roy, the growing season here is about 6 months long, mate. It's just the opposite of you guys. So, and the area I live in is pretty temperate. Do you know what fruit and veggies are native to your state? Now, this is something all the American viewers aren't gonna know, but bush tomatoes, lily pillies, lots of bush herbs, and that sort of thing. That's the native things to our state. Yeah, so it's totally different from the stuff that you guys know. And it's not sort of hugely spread all over the world. So yeah, the stuff that's native here, you guys wouldn't know. What is your state known for? Well, I live in Victoria, Australia. It's known around the world at the moment for our lockdown policy. So yeah, it's absolutely lousy for lockdown. As far as growing, generally it's wheat crops and that sort of thing, a lot of sheep farming. So yeah, that's what we're known for as far as cropping. Does your family help out in the garden? Apart from little Astrid, when she comes in and likes to play around, not really. And the kids aren't much into gardening. I'd love to change that, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I'd love to get an interest in them for gardening. Christina's starting to develop an interest. So we'll see how we go. She's killed a lot of plants, but hey, we'll try and get her there. Do you have any allergic reactions or bug bites while gardening? I am a mosquito magnet. Mosquitoes will fly past 5 other people to get to me. They absolutely love the taste of me for some reason. So don't know what it is, but yeah, mosquitoes will go past 5 other people to get me. Name 1 or 2 items that you know you have to buy next year. Space. I want more space. I want to go big with the garden. I look forward to having a big garden. The tiny's great, but you just can't get the variety in. So yeah, I can't buy it, but hey, we can dream. Hopefully one day soon they're going to open the borders and I can get over to America and see the beautiful Dana and we can share in her space. But until then, I'm sort of stuck with what I got. The other thing I know I've got to buy is some more seed, just some more varieties and that sort of thing. Like to do different things at different times. Yeah, I like to experiment a bit in the garden. So that is always fun. Catch you later, Paula. Thanks for stopping by. All right. How many seed packets do you own? Well, what's in my garden is pretty much what I own. I've only started again this year. I actually gave all my seeds away, I think last year or the year before. So I've had to start all over again. I thought that I wouldn't be gardening again for a while. So I'd given all my seeds away. So I've gone out and had to rebuy everything. So what's in the garden at the moment is the seeds I own. Have you started saving seeds? I used to, and again, they were in amongst the stuff that I gave away. So as of yet, for this year, I'm not up to the stage where I can save seeds. Those pesky little pak choi plants are about to shoot to seed. So I will be saving the seeds off those. Ideally, the ones that take the longest to go to seed, they will be the ones that I save, because I want the ones that are going to last the longest. And I will certainly be saving more seeds as we go along. Name 3 things that you will be growing in your garden next year. Well, can anyone guess number 1? Come on, folks, this is an easy one. That's it. I guess everyone knows me pretty well. And Jason, you're a turd. But hey. Yes, potatoes will be number 1. Tomatoes will be number 2. Because every now and again, some sauce on your potato works out well. And cucumbers will be also something that I'm growing, and we've just got to sort of beat the slug battle and get them up, because I do love some pickles. All right. What types of gardening videos do you like? Love how-tos. Love watching the way other people do it. That's always fun. No, haven't tried sunchokes, Jason. So they may be worth a try. Yeah, I love how-to videos. Love to watch how other people do it. You can learn so much from watching how other people run their gardening system. I stick to the basics of what I've grown up with and adapt it with what I see from other people. There's nothing fixed. You can play with this way and that way and see what happens. So I love watching how-tos and seeing how other people do it. Also, I love garden tours. Love watching how other people's gardens have grown. Love watching the American channels while we're in our winter. Means that we can garden vicariously through you. Loved watching Dana's garden grow this year. That was awesome. So again, I could garden vicariously. I basically told her how to do it, and she done all the hard work, which was awesome. No digging in the soil from me. But Braden, her son, done a big part of the work out there, and that was awesome of him. He's a great kid and got out there and turned the soil over for her, which was awesome. So there we go. That is the 30 questions. Now, No, I didn't get to eat any deer. That was a shame. But I'm eating mine. It's all good. And I'm eating my greens. So, and it might only be once a week for TV, but hey, I'm eating some greens. All right. Now, the call outs for this one. I'm going to tag, generally, you tag 3 channels. I'm greedy and I like to call out more channels because I love to see other channels get a bit of exposure. Now, one small one that I have just seen, and that is, I know I'm going to say this wrong. Chapasky, Cheapsake by, Cheapsake Homestead. I will throw the link up for everyone later on. It was running fine through my head until I'm in front of a camera, and now the word just won't come out. So I will throw the channel link up for them. They are a little sort of 100 sub channel, so please go across and give them some love. All right. Now the rest in alphabetical order is Big Bear Homestead, who's in here at the moment, Jason and Robin. And although Jason's going to, I can't say it at the moment. So Jason and Robin, Jason's the one here teasing away at the second. But it will be Robin who does the video because she does all the gardening stuff. Next shout out is for In Your Yard Homestead, Josh, who's in here at the moment. Because I have to tag a Aussie channel, it's pretty much a must do. And Josh is really into his gardening. So this is a great one for him. Next, I'm going to call up one of my mods. That's awesome, mate. It's nice to see you out. You're going to go out in the garden. Next is one of my mods who's had to duck out, is Paula Wells. She started last year saying that she had a black thumb, and the lady brought in the greatest garden you've ever seen. Absolutely phenomenal. She turned her black thumb into a green thumb. So absolutely awesome. So I want her to share her gardening story. And lastly, I want to call out two family homestead who are in here at the moment, and let them join in. They can tell us the story of the weeds they're growing. So those are the channels I'm calling out for this one. All right, that's us at the end of the questions. Now, does anyone out there in the audience have some questions to round out our time? Huru Lady of Huntington, enjoy the golf mill. Two families, no. Unfortunately, you can't send seeds over here. The quarantine laws are going to stop any seeds from coming in, which absolutely sucks. But yeah, they've got to go through biosecurity, and they basically kill the things to send when they come over. Art of Creation, guys, it was a pleasure to do it. Number one, it gave me a chance to do a live again, which has worked out a whole lot better than the last one because people can actually hear me this time. And I love talking about my garden, and you guys are awesome. James, the spinach I cooked for the frittata was a Southern European spinach. So it's It's a broadleaf spinach. It's still just as tender as the smaller stuff. It's wonderful stuff. And Ed, sorry, mate, but I had my tags all sort of filled out. I don't want to tag all the same people in all the videos because that's just not fair on other channels. What's the weather like down under? Mild and wet in the wintertime. We do get a couple of frosts and that sort of thing. I've never seen snow in my life. That we do get it. It's in the highlands, but I don't really go to the highlands that much. In summertime, it is dry and hot, very hot. Sort of 100, 110 American temperature. And Ed, yes, my daughter does love to help me when I'm building stuff. It's great. I love to see her grow as a person. Love to share the knowledge with her. I mean, that's what it's all about, showing the kids how to do it. G'day to Gail at Southern Living. Gail Southern Living. Hi, Kathy. Thank you for dropping in. Roy, recovery from fires, mate. It makes a lot more news in other countries than it does here. Fires are an annual thing for us. Our forests are basically a sclerophyll forest, which means it burns. They're designed to burn. That's how our forests regenerate. Most of the seed won't set in our forest unless it has gone through a fire. So unless there's a fire goes through, most of the plants won't actually set seed. They're designed to set seed after a fire so they can grow in that rich ash, and it gives them a good start, and also the overhead cover's cleared off. Hobby farm homestead, it depends what you want to see when you're over here. If you're after the touristy type stuff, then it's definitely Queensland, up where Silhouette Park, who's just jumped in, is. So that is definitely the touristy sort of area. It's the sands and the beach. Down here in the south, it's more sort of natural. In the center, we've got the big geological features like Ayers Rock, the Olgas, and that sort of thing. Northern Territory, we're pretty much just as big as America, so there's lots of different things to do here. My favorite meat to eat would be lamb. So yes, Dana, you are right. Absolutely love lamb. But then again, there's always pork, and the pig is the magical creature. I mean, it gives you ham, it gives you pork, it gives you bacon, and who doesn't love bacon? I wrapped a meatloaf in the damn thing. So a bit of a competition there between lamb and pork, but lamb would probably pull ahead. Lamb brats. I have never had a lamb sausage. Nettie, I know why Ed is out putting a beef brisket on the smoker. And that will be for Southern Lice Fall Barbecue Cook-Off Challenge. And Yeah, I'm not doing beef. Well, that's not the plan anyway. I will be working on a video for that hopefully tomorrow. So, and I have a little bit of a plan for that one, and we'll see. But of course, I'm not going to inject salt into the center of it like someone else done, because that is that is a sure way to dry out your piece of meat. So I'm going to make it a wee bit better than that. Thank you very much to One Land Acres. I loved my meatloaf. It was delicious. Yeah, very much enjoyed it. It was as good as it looked. That's pretty much all I can say. But didn't win the title, but that wasn't important. I beat Ed. That was the important part. You still in the room, Ed? And thank you, Nettie. All right. Do we have any other questions in the room? Angela loves lamb. I didn't think that many Americans had tried it. There you go. Well, there you go, Dana. Once we get to farming, we've got someone to sell some lamb to. Awesome. Yes, I know, Ed, you didn't join the meatloaf wars, but you did call me out to cook a meatloaf against you. James, I can't send meatloaf across, mate. I'm sorry. Roy, Australians do tend to own their own land. We have a lot more in private ownership than you guys. You have publicly held land, a great deal more of publicly held land than we do. Most of ours tends to be farms. Up in the center, up in the north, there's huge land that you've got to run cattle over hundreds of thousands of acres to actually raise them. So, our biggest farm cuddy station would be the size of a couple of states in America. It's pretty huge. You're going to raise lamb? That is awesome, James. And no, you can never have too many C's, that is for sure. And g'day to Southern Blessed Homestead. Thanks for dropping in. And yes, we will all have a get together when I come over for a visit. James has decided he's going to cook for us all. So it'll be mac and cheese for dinner. Lamb there is $12 a pound. Yeah, that is pretty expensive. Here it's about half that price. It's about $12 the kilo. Just depends where you get it from. I buy mine off a friend who owns a farm. He raises black Suffolk sheep. So I get a whole lamb off him. He normally sends them to the butcher. I pick it up from the butcher and do my own cutting. So I save a little bit doing it that way. And I normally get it for $11 a kilo. So it's a lot cheaper that way. I get to cut it the way I like it and get the cuts that I like out of the lamb. That way it's not someone else deciding how it's cut and how I'm going to eat it. And plus I get to play with my knives, and that's always a good thing. James, Kraft mac and cheese in a box. Yeah, I kind of figured that for your level, mate. I have seen you actually put out some cooking videos, so you might have to lift your game a wee bit. All right. Anyone else on the questions? Art of creation between Dayton and Cincinnati. And I even know where that is, sort of. All right, folks. Do we have any more questions? Or am I starting to look at wrapping up? Yes, I would love to come to Ohio and visit you. But first of all, I've got to get to Georgia. That is a must do. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap it up now. Thank you very much for everyone for attending. I mean, 25 people. That is absolutely awesome. That is a big boost to someone who has a small channel like me. It just means so much that you care enough to stop by and say good day. That is an awesome thing. Makes me feel so loved. Please, the channels that I've tagged in this, go and check them out. Chapasky Home. I'm just never going to be able to say it, but there will be a link down in there once I edit it. Please go check them out. They're a little 100 subscriber channel. So go check them out. Chesapeake. That's it. Chesapeake Homestead. Woohoo! Got there. Chesapeake Homestead. They're a little 100 subscriber channel, so please, anyone who's willing, go and check them out. Give them a little bit of love, and give them a bit of encouragement. I mean, all the small channels need a bit of that encouragement, and it helps them. And please check out all the other channels that I mentioned. Check out Art of Creation, who tagged me in it. Wonderful, wonderful channel. Some good friends of mine, and I will certainly be catching up with them at some stage when I get over to the States. And thank you very much, everyone, for coming by, and bye for now.